Hi, this is Scott with the Android Guys Reviews podcast. I'm here with Luke.
Hello.
Luke, you have a game or an app you want to talk about?
I do. I have a game.
Okay.
I'm talking about a game called Clever Cubed or Clever Hawk Dre.
Okay.
So this is a German game. It's actually a board game that was made digital, and this is the third version.
Okay.
So the first one is called That's Pretty Clever. The second one is Even More Clever, and then this one is Clever Cubed. Developed by Brett Spielwelt.
Okay.
GmbH.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm looking at it. You look pretty right.
Yeah.
That's as accurate as I would go.
Yeah. So it's if you look up Clever Cubed, you'll find it. It's $3.49 in the Play Store. And this, so what the Clever games are, the easiest way to explain them is it is Yahtzee on crack.
Okay.
So you have 6 dice, and they're different colored depending on what game you're playing. In Clever Cubed, you have white, yellow, teal, dark blue, pink, and brown.
Mm-hmm.
And the different colors are used in different parts of your score sheet. So what you'll do is you'll, on your turn, you'll roll the die, and then you'll decide what die you want to use. And the key is whatever, in numeric order from 1 to 6, whatever die you use, everything under that amount of pips goes away and can't be used. So you want to try and use the lowest amount of pips you can on each roll, so that you can get the most options per turn. You roll 3 times on your turn, and you get to use 3 different dice, and then the remaining dice go into a community pool that the other players can use on your turn. And then you know that's how you go in the actual game. In the digital version, in this app version, you're just playing against you're playing in an AI, and so on your last turn, it rolls a random, and you have a community set of dice to pull from to use. Okay. So it's like you're waiting for their turn to be done, and then you continue your turn. The game is played over 6 rounds, and then at the end of that, it's just you get a score, and you're just trying to get as high of a score as you can. Now, it's interesting because each color goes into a different part of your score sheet, but on the score sheet, you have bonuses for the other colors. So, for instance, the yellow die, if you, fill in over the course of the game 4 threes, or 3 threes in the yellow, you'll have a bonus in the pink. So you get to you get to mark off a box in the pink section, and then maybe a box in the blue section.
Okay.
And so what this game comes down to is, as you're going through the game, you're compounding bonuses and earning more and more bonuses. And each section does things a little differently. Yellow, you can only put if you use the first roll yellow die, you can only mark off in the first row of yellow. Okay. If you use your second roll yellow die, you mark the middle row. If you use the third roll, you use the last roll, or the last row. Teal is a little different because if you, based on how many other dice of the same number of pips, so if I use a 2 teal and I have 2 other 2s already, then I get to mark off 3 spots on the teal number 2 on the board.
Okay.
And so it's a pretty complex game to learn.
It sounds, as you say it, complex, but as I look at the pictures,
it makes a lot more sense.
It makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me as a nice combination of chance and then you deciding what you do with that chance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the beauty of the dice game is chance. The beauty of the way the game is designed is you are kind of able to mitigate that somewhat. There's other bonuses that you get from in different areas. You unlock maybe more rerolls, so you could reroll dice if you don't roll what you need, or you could. They have them. They're called Joker dice, where you can change a die to a different number if you need it to, or the ability to add a +1, which means you get to mark an extra spot on the board from a die. So you essentially could use a die twice.
Okay.
And so it's a very fun solo game. It's a great solo game in that you're essentially just trying to be better than you've done before. You're only really beating yourself. You're not trying to. There are leaderboards online, and you can try and compete for the high score, but really it's just, can I get better than I did before?
Okay.
And if you look at the leaderboards online, some of them, people are scoring in the 500s, and your highest game is maybe 220. And you're like, how in the heck are they getting this high of scores? But if you enjoy games like Yahtzee or Kismet or something like that, this is kind of the next level, a more complex version of that. And I think the third one, Clever Cubed, is probably the best version because it gives you the most options for different things you can do. 1 and 2 are good. But they're a little bit simplified. So this is a good complex dice rolling game where if you like the idea of trying to roll certain numbers, this really satisfies that itch.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, playing the real version in person requires another person to play.
Yeah.
Whereas this could be, I'm going to pick it up and play
exactly
on my phone.
Yeah. So if you want to play the board game, you would be looking for 2 people, up to a maximum of 4. It's a 2 to 4 player game. But the digital is a solo game.
Okay.
And there's no, actually the digital is only solo. There is no like online play or no multiplayer. So you're just playing by yourself. But it's a great dice game. It's a great digital dice game, and it's a thinker. You gotta think, and you gotta kind of plan. Hey, I could really use this 2 brown, but if I use this 2 brown, I'm going to get rid of the 1 teal, and I would really like to maybe have teal later. So maybe I should just use a reroll, because if I use that 2, the teal goes away, and I won't get to use it the rest of my turn. So it's a cool kind of like pressure luck also, because you can say, you know what, I'm gonna use this other thing with the hopes that next roll I get what I need in this other color.
Gotcha.
And it's really fun. If you like, I'm a sucker for dice games. I really like dice games, and this is the in-person version is fantastic. And when I saw this was digital, it's become one of those that I've played probably for a good 6 months now.
Okay.
I play it regularly. So really
how about
fun.
we put some numbers on it?
Let's do it.
Score this thing with. Let's start with features. What you get for your value, because it's $3.49, right?
$3.49.
Okay.
So what you get for your value, I would say this is a 3, because it's just the game. There's not much else to it as far as what it does. You're playing Clever Cubed, and there's no like different game modes. There's no multiplayer.
Okay.
There's not much. There's not much, to it after the initial game.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
That'd be a 3.
Graphics.
Graphics also a 3. It's very simple. It's just numbers and squares on the screen, and there is. I will say, when you're first learning the game, it's a little hard to understand where some of the stuff is, but once you get it, You'll open the game and it'll seem daunting. The rules are very good when you read through the rules, but the graphics it's nothing spectacular, but it doesn't need to be. So a 3, it's a little above average.
Okay. And audio? Do you have much sound or music?
So audio is a 2. I would maybe give it a 1, but I'm going to give it a 2. There is every time you, when you roll the dice, there's a sound for rolling the dice. But when you pick a die and place it, it gives like a woohoo sound.
Oh, okay.
And it's so annoying because it happens every single time.
Okay.
And there's no music, so that's kind of a plus. So there's no like annoying music that's over and over, but that woohoo sound, it's unneeded.
Well, for a game that you want to play and you're going to be continuously rolling.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
can you turn that off? Is there a setting?
No.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, you can turn your sound off.
Sure.
But that woohoo is always there, and it's
okay.
I'm confused on why it's there.
Okay.
So that's why that's a 2.
All right. Replay value.
Replay value is a 5 for me.
Okay.
It's great. It's a good puzzle game. It's a very good dice puzzle game, and I haven't been able to reach like that upper echelon of score on the high scores, and that bugs me. I don't know why, because I feel like I have very good strategies and I play well, but it's also just dice, so it's random. So if you're constantly trying to, get those high scores and get what's a good score, quote unquote, in the game, you're going to play it a lot.
All right. And then in regards to notifications, ads.
That's also a 5 because there's nothing. You pay for the game. You will see an ad in game for the other digital versions, but not. It's only when you are in the main menu that says these other versions are available. So, but there's no like, hey, come back and play. There's no like, check out this new feature, because there aren't any new features. It's just the game. So
okay,
it's a one-time purchase. You install it, and they're going to leave you alone unless you're playing it.
And that averages out to
3.6.
Yeah, there are a couple of redeeming ones there after that too.
Yeah,
for the audio.
Yeah,
nice.
So it's a great game. I mean, it's a really if you like puzzle games, you like dice strategy, and you don't mind thinking a little bit, this is a great game.
And the name one more time.
Clever Cubed.
Clever Cubed. Thanks, Luke.
No problem.